It's kind of amazing. It's the first film that I ever produced. And to be here after all these years, we now have our fifth Mission Impossible. Um, I love making these movies. I originally, I started producing just out of a love of cinema, and I want to learn as much as I can about movies. And particularly with these kind of films, because it's not just action, it's not just suspense. You have a lot of intrigue. Uh, I love the spy genre. I love the theme music. And they're a wonderful challenge to make and to kind of invite filmmakers and artists to come in and create this kind of world and do very practical kind of action. It's really challenging, and it's fun seeing an audience. I want to entertain an audience. That's what I want to do in whatever kind of film that I'm making. And I'm just happy that audiences find these films entertaining as I do. And so I really enjoy making them. It's big movie making. And I've always wanted to make films all over the world and work with, a multicultural groups on this kind of project. And that's another reason why I started Mission Impossible. Is I wanted to shoot in Prague. I wanted to shoot with foreign cast and work in different countries with those crews and mixed crews and have that experience. And that's part of what Mission Impossible is. It's a journey that celebrates locations. So you have to go to it. We build sequences within cities and celebrate their architecture and their beauty, the aesthetics of their culture, which is also, when audiences see it, I want to transport them. I want to bring them to these places. Chris and I have the same sensibility in storytelling and the same love of films and the same kind of movies. And really right from the beginning, when he came on, he wrote and produced Valkyrie. And of course, I admired his work before that. He won the Oscar for Usual Suspects, and someone who I just think has a very strong and unique voice. In the nicest possible way, we push each other. And I invite that from the people, I work with. And he does also, to say, bring me ideas. I want to hear how you feel about this. Story is king. And every shot has to forward that story and that narrative. So for me, always, it's what I love about movies. I love a good story, and that's what it is. And particularly with any movie, we're taking that audience, and there's a trust that I feel, and I want to pull them in the same way that I want to be on the edge of my seat when I'm watching a movie. I want to deliver that for an audience, and that is storytelling. We have the team now, and with Ethan and the team, it's always what pressure is down on these guys. And I think we have with Lane, a great villain, and one who is definitely a match for Ethan and for the team, and someone who challenges him emotionally, intellectually. He's very powerful. He's very intelligent. He's elusive, and he's quite scary. And you see right from the beginning, he's constantly eluding Ethan, and Ethan just can't grasp him. And this villain is someone who's put Ethan in a position where he's, manipulating Ethan, and he's really controlling the whole journey, essentially. And Ethan and the team are constantly on their heels. I think she's an incredibly powerful actress, Rebecca Ferguson. Incredibly charismatic, exudes an elegance and an intelligence. She's an amazing athlete, and she herself didn't realize how, we were working with her, I kept telling her, I said, look, you're really talented. Her hand-eye coordination, the way she moves is very powerful and elegant. And so I feel, and I know Chris feels the same way, we feel fortunate that we found her and that she's in the movie. But I think her character is mysterious and delightful and powerful. And I think as I do, when I watch her, and I think an audience, that when we screen it for audiences, they're very much leaning forward and very captivated by her. Every day I had a lot of fun with him. Every single day we laughed and still, were able to focus and work hard, and that kind of chemistry that McHugh and I wanted with those characters is very alive there. And the car sequence, because I'm driving the whole time and he had to be in the car. He totally trusted me when we were doing it, which I was thinking, I don't want to tell him how dangerous this really is. I mean, I'm driving high speed, drifting, in a very narrow alleys and slamming up against the wall. And at times we have cameras hanging off of it. It's not like we had extra pads or there wasn't green screen. I was high speed hammering down those stairs. And I remember just certain seconds, because I have to push it right to the edge. And he just cracks me up in his performance. I mean, it makes me laugh every time I see him. First of all, he's an amazing actor. And he's someone who just embodied that character. He's the nicest guy when you meet him. He's just such a, very kind and humble and, very soft-spoken man. But when he came on as Lane, it was, you're like, this is cool. I mean, I got really excited about it, and very excited when, to see what he's going to do with this character. And as I said, again, he's someone who exudes intelligence and that calculating manipulation that is fascinating and I think quite terrifying for an audience to see. He's someone who, we just really admire his work. And so we were very excited, to have him aboard as a secretary. And as I said, Chris will write for an actor. So the speeches that he's writing for Alec Baldwin, I mean, I think he and we'd read them back and forth together, trying to, I just get so excited about seeing what is Alec going to do with this character. And, he certainly doesn't disappoint. Alec is enormously entertaining in playing this antagonist and a definite threat and pressure down on the IMF and the team. I've been to Vienna many times, and like anything you're looking at, it's just beautiful. It's very elegant, and the movie has a romantic quality about it, and has a great sense of adventure and scale. The film is big; it has tremendous scale. This movie, so to be shooting in Vienna, and that sequence, that opera sequence, is a signature sequence in the movie that I can't wait for audiences to see that sequence. I hadn't done any freediving before, and I hadn't held my breath for long periods of time. And I have to say, physically, it was without a doubt the most challenging aspect of the film, because we were doing up to 6.5-minute breath holds. And just I had, with the sequence, you have to overtrain for a sequence. Just, because I was doing, I think the longest that I held my breath during the sequence is over 3 minutes when we were doing it. Because you have to be ready prior to camera roll, all the way we're doing long shots, and there's a lot of motion. So when your body's moving, it's burning the oxygen much faster. And there's a lot of physical stress that the character's going through. So I had to prove to everyone that it was actually safe and spend time with the safety guys and the safety officers to show them, look, this is actually, not only is it safe, it's better that I know how to hold my breath, because I'm going to be very relaxed. No one's going to have to rush in. No one has to panic. So that aspect of it was under control. But physically, it was very grueling. It surprised me, actually. It surprised me the physical toll that it took and how challenging it was. I couldn't wait to shoot Morocco. And that sequence, we spent a lot of time at the track. I feel fortunate because I get to work with these, the best drivers, the best stunt guys, these incredible athletes. And anytime I'm there, I'm constantly trying to learn as much as I can and get better and better at it. So spending the time at the track, I mean, I used to race cars before. I've done a lot of stunt driving before. And I have to say, the way that Wade set the car up and set the motorcycle up and the kind of training that we did, it was able to just take it to a whole new level so that, we could do very extreme things with relative safety. It was extreme. It was high velocity the entire time. And, we loved it. We had a blast. On the morning of, it was when we were going out to do it. I did my warm-up because I got to stretch also because I'm wearing a harness. But I know it's also a performance. I have to act. But then when I got on the side, I was very excited. And the engine started. We were taxiing. And I remember we're at the end of the runway, and I'm hanging onto this thing. He's pushing that throttle forward. And we are hammering down that runway. And I'm like, holy It was... the force of it, that wind, I mean, you see, I'm trying desperately to keep my feet on the side of that, onto the flooring there. And I'm hanging onto the side of that, my grip on the side, and it's freezing cold at this point, even before we're up at altitude. And, you lose about 3 degrees per 1,000 feet. And that feeling, man, the airplane left the ground, and I couldn't hold my feet on the side on that airplane anymore. And suddenly I do feel that force of my body's going up against the side of that fuselage. And we did it, I guess I did it 8 times. And we changed lens. And every time they were like, let's stop it. But I wanted to make sure that we had that shot. And it's pretty exhilarating, actually. He's evolved, Ethan. But I think he is someone who will go with his own instincts of what's true for him, like what is right in terms of how he feels about it. And you can see the evolution of, in the beginning where he trusted Phelps implicitly and totally, and the IMF in the first one, and then was really betrayed and thought to be a traitor, essentially. And you just see in each film how he's progressed in terms of understanding people for what they are and trusting them to that extent, but always thinking about others instead of himself. Not necessarily fearless. He's not a superhero. He's very human, but will go to any extent to help others and save his friends and to try to save the world, and using all of his skills to try to do that, even if it's against his superiors. If he believes it's the right thing to do and he's evaluated, he will go to that extent to get it done. And he will be relentless in pursuing that all the way to the end.